Okay, let me just adjust this camera a little bit. It's a little bit better. And let me just adjust this light, just so that we have, there we go, it's a little bit better light. As we're waiting for Facebook to do its thing and to announce that I'm live, because Facebook is pretty slow at that. It's also slow at the comments. Now I don't know if I'm able to, yes I am. I think I can tag a few people in this. Let's have a look. Okay. We'll tag a few of my regular followers in here. While I'm waiting on people coming along. Don't you hate it when your spell checker can't spell? Love it. Okay, I'm just tagging a few people. And usually jump on my readings live while I'm waiting on Facebook to catch up and do its thing. Okay. Right, we have got a few people tagged in there. So we can come off the tagging bit now, hopefully. Okay. Let me just swipe the comments back and forward, because sometimes you have to start the comments in the comment section, and sometimes you don't. So while I'm waiting on people jumping on, I'm going to mention what's new in the Mystic Witch, because I have changed a few things in the group and also on the page, and for all our new members, welcome to the Mystic Witch group. My name is Lady Moonlight. I am the Mystic Witch, and this group's all about coming together, coming along once a week and asking me to pick a card for you. I'm more than happy to do that. If you are like me, and natural products that don't have chemicals, that are organic, that are vegan, that are, you know, earth friendly, then the Mystic Witch offers you a wide range of such products. Anyone is more than welcome to ask me advice on these products. We have products from natural skincare to natural makeup to natural lashes that are compatible with all skin types, including super sensitive. I have super sensitive skin, and I can't use anything that has chemicals in it, because if I do, I get reactions. And for many years I couldn't use makeup, couldn't use certain shampoos, couldn't use certain skincare, etc., just because they had those nasty chemicals. If your products have got two main nasties in them, parabens or sulfates. They're so bad for your skin, they're so bad for the environment. So it's worthwhile checking your products list. So the Mystic Witch is all about that. It's all about healing, it's all about reading, it's all about natural products. These are the things that are super important to me in my particular life. If it's not natural, I don't want to know about it. You know, and I've been following Spirit all my life, or should I say they've been following me. And I wouldn't be anyone else but me. And I'm one of these ones that believe if you've been given free gifts, if you've been given the gift of second sight, if you've been given the gift of healing, if you've been given any sort of gift, that gift is given to you freely. And it's given to you so that you can use that gift. So many people have the ability to read for others, to heal others, and to help others in so many ways. But yet they're not aware of those abilities. And they spend a whole lifetime not using those very gifts that were gifted to us. And you know what? That's pretty sad. So I've always made sure that I use my gifts, whether that's my healing gifts. I've always been a natural healer, but as I got older, I wanted to enhance my healing abilities. So I studied Reiki for several years, and I completed my Reiki 1, 2 and Masters and Master Teacher. And with those healing gifts, I could take my healing to the next level. I can send healing anywhere in the world, to anyone in the world, and that is such a blessing and such an amazing gift to be able to have, to know that you've contributed in some small way to healing others on the globe. I've sent healing to people in America, and I've had so many messages back saying thank you for that healing. It had made such a huge difference. So that's pretty much who the Mystic Witch is. That's me in a nutshell. So I just thought while I'm waiting for people to jump on, I would just give a brief insight for all our newcomers to the group. Got to those. So if you are here tonight and you would like me to pick a card for you, just come along, ask me for a card. Now, I've got 2 decks with me this evening, so you can have a choice of either my Old Faithful, which have been with me since Doomsday. These were my very first deck of cards. They are the traditional tarot deck. Although I'm not a tarot reader, I'm a spiritual reader. There is a world of difference between a tarot reader and a spiritual reader. I'm more of a spiritual reader. I use the numerology, the symbols, and the images, and also Spirit's messages to read each card. Whereas a tarot reader would read the rule book. Tarot has so many rules, and when you go to a tarot reader, one card means the same thing for everyone that you read for. When you're a spiritual reader, one card could mean one thing for one person and another for another, depending on the numerology, depending on the messages from Spirit, etc., etc. So I just wanted to clear that up, that there is a difference between a tarot reader and a spiritual reader such as myself. So I have my Old Faithfuls, or you are welcome to choose a moon card, because the moon cards are really, really powerful cards as well. They can bring messages that are from the universe, universal messages. The universe is always, always watching. I'm just making sure these cards are on the right way up, because sometimes when I'm shuffling, Spirit can mix my cards up. I've seen it happen. I've kind of like gone through my cards and I'm like, why is that one upside down? Why is that one the wrong way round, etc. If you are watching me live, please say hello. I don't know if the comments are working. I'm just going to keep swiping just to make sure. Obviously, it's super, super important, especially for lives, that I see that you certainly can. I will choose a moon card. Let me just straighten them all so that I can shuffle a moon card. Lovely to see you. You're one of the first ones to come and get a reading tonight. Lovely to see sort of new faces. Usually when I'm doing these readings, it's usually all the same followers that come and ask for a reading. So when somebody new comes along, it is lovely for me to be able to read those cards. So let me just sort these moon cards out, because Spirit have had a wonderful time rearranging these. And don't ask me how they do it. They just have a knack of, when I'm shuffling the cards, even though I'm shuffling them all the right way, somewhere along the line, I go and do a reading and find that they're all upside down. However, they are all in the right order. So I have my moon cards. So let's give you a little shuffle. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday. I've had a busy Friday. We've just launched new skincare range in my shop, so super excited about that. So vegan, it's all natural, and it's plant-based, and it's certified organic, which I love. I don't like anything that's grown in chemicals. It's just not nice. So I've been busy launching that. Other than that, it's been a pretty relaxed Friday, which I like before doing readings. So I'm just going to shuffle these and split them for you. Okay, and we'll see what the moon card. I love the moon cards. They're a relatively new pack for me, but I found since using them for both myself and doing other people's readings, the messages are super amazing. Yeah, me too. See, I can't use anything with chemicals because my skin absolutely reacts to it. I remember going into the body shop in our local town, and I said to her, do you have any natural foundations? And I mean no chemicals, nothing like that. Oh yeah, we have this one. It's only £25, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I'll have that one then, if, you know. And she says, I'll even do your makeup for you. I'll you know, and you can see for yourself. And I had a meeting. It was a meeting that helped women who have been through abuse and stuff. And I thought, well, it'd be nice to go in all made up and looking good, right? So, yeah, she gave me a full face of this foundation. Now, in the shop, it looked absolutely amazing. However, I went to the meeting straight after it, and I got that all too familiar sort of skin itch that you do when you're super sensitive. And I'm like sitting there listening to the tutor, and I'm like, please do not go a tango orange on me, not now. So we kind of had like a coffee break, and I went to the ladies, and sure enough, I looked like a tango orange. Needless to say, the foundation was not a natural foundation, and I couldn't wait till the meeting finished and I got home and washed it off. It was a nightmare. So now if it's not vegan, if it's not organic, and it's not natural, I just can't use it. It's just not worth it. You know, that tango look don't do us ladies any justice, right? So I'm super excited that a new Avera brand of skincare, they brought out a new cleanser and a new moisturizer which has vitamin C and lots of other natural stuff, Dead Sea salt and things. So I'm super excited about that. So I was busy last night and today kind of launching that. Okay, confidence is your key to success is your moon card for today. So when I'm reading this, it's a new moon in Leo, even though it's not a new moon, but it's a new moon in Leo, and when it's got confidence is key to success, right? I feel that in the past, you've had others in your life that have maybe come along, and whether it's been intentional, whether it's been non-intentional, but they have knocked your confidence or your self-esteem to ground zero, right? They've planted those seeds of doubt. And although I feel that you're working towards better confidence right now in your life, sometimes we have those little setbacks, right? Sometimes the words from others can come back to haunt us. Because, you know, sometimes I'm like, well, you know, I do my readings, for example, and just recently I was told that somebody had proclaimed that because my readings were reasonably priced, therefore I was a fake reader, etc., etc. And I'm thinking, well, if she's telling me that, and you know that somebody has already said that about me, what are others thinking? What are others feeling? And it can, if you allow it to, knock your confidence, right? Even though they don't mean to, they might be genuine in saying, do you know, this person said this about you, and I'm just wondering what kind of reader you are. And it could be a genuine request, but the fact that they've planted that little tiny baby seed, and in the moment it might not mean anything, right? But we all know, right, that when we are in the quiet of our own home or in our own space or whatever else, that little tiny voice, that little tiny seed comes back to haunt us. And we kind of think, you know, then we start worrying about what other people are saying, what other people are thinking about us, and then we take that step back. And it's like having 2 steps forwards in your confidence and then 1 step back. And you're continually chasing to catch up all the time, only to be set back. So when this card comes up, it's asking you to keep a hold of that confidence. You know, it doesn't matter what we do in life, either for a job or what we do in our own personal lives or the circle of friends and people that we have around us. You're always going to get somebody that is going to judge you. And you might think that pretty sucks, right? And it's pretty, you know, that's pretty unfair. But when you unravel why it is, why do people do that? Why do people judge us and knock our confidence? Most of the time, they don't even know us, but they're quite happy to judge us. They can maybe watch 1 live out of 1,000 lives and think, no, she's a fake or whatever else, right? Or they could be in our lives and thinking, no, that person's not for me, right? Or they could be in the same line of work as yourself, but see your success as a threat to them, so they will try everything in their power to knock you down so that they can rise. Life is full of people like that. Life is full of people that's going to come along and try and dim your light, try and destroy your self-esteem. But this card, I feel, is coming today, and I feel you need this message. I feel that the universe is saying to you, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, you know, what others think about what you do, what you say, how you act, whatever else. What matters is be you. 1000% be you. You know, I'm the kind of person now, I've come from many years of abuse and control and stuff. And one thing that it's taught me is I spent all those years pleasing others. I spent all those years taking a back step for my own dreams, my own goals, my own successes, to please others. But where did that get me in those 50 years? Because I suffered 50 years of bullying or abuse in some kind of form before I got out. So where did that get me in those 50 years? It got me nowhere apart from being unhappy. I was seeing everybody else around me happy because I was jumping and whistling and dancing to their tune. But what about my tune? What about your tune, right? Where did your magic go? Where did your happiness go, right? It went with the jealousy of others or the need for others to get you to follow them, etc., etc. But here's the thing. Not everybody's for our tribe. Not everybody will fit into our circle, right? We could be the round pegs, other people could be the square, and some could be triangles, right? You're never gonna fit a square or a triangle in a round hole, right? You're just never gonna do that, right? So we're never gonna be able to please everyone. And I think it took me all of that 50 years to realise that. And I love this card because it's a constant reminder to me as well, to keep being who I am, no matter what other people judge. And you know what, at the end of the day, if other people judge you because of what you do and what you love, they own that, not you, right? The main message of this card is asking you to just keep doing exactly what you're doing every day. Keep doing the things that make you happy. Keep doing the things that are important to you. And yeah, of course you're going to get the haters, the dislikers, the judges or whatever else, right? You know what? Let them do that, right? Let them stay in their little jealousy or their haters or their, judgmental lane. You keep going in your positive, happy lane. Because when you do that, other like-minded people, such as yourself, will join your lane. And you'll also lead by example as well. Oh, you're welcome. Do you know what? I get that because, in fact, very recently, I was on a friend's page, and that friend obviously had a few drinks. Now they all, they often say that when you're having a drink or two or whatever else, stay off Facebook. Stay off whatever, because a lot of people, when they are under the influence of alcohol, will say exactly what's on their mind, and you get their true colours coming out through drink. And I was, although she didn't name me, I was the only reader that she knew, and she was going on this rant about, You know, don't it make you sick when you watch somebody's reading and you find that that reader's a fake? Now, for a split second or two, or a split moment or two, and I'm like, wow, just wow, I've helped this woman through thick and thin when she's needed problems, and to see that in black and white. Now, I could have let that manifest, and I could have said, right, that's it, I'm shutting the Mystic Witch, that's it, I'm never going to do another card reading, right? I could quite have easily done that on the word of one person, right? However, apparently when she sobered up the next day, that post was removed. But the seed was still there, and I had that choice. Do I hold on to that seed and plant it and let it manifest? Or do I just pass on that seed straight back to the person and carry on doing what I love? The result, I'm here today still doing my live readings. Will I ever stop? No, because it's so important to be you. And I think you, as you said, I'm so glad that this card was relevant for you today, because now I don't know if the name Margaret means anything to you, because somebody in spirit by the name of Margaret has come through. And I feel that it's this Margaret that is bringing you this universal card today, and that, you know, this lady is saying she needs to hear this now more than ever, because there is this been sort of things happening around you that has kind of made you feel, you know, why am I still here doing this if people are not happy, or whatever else. And you've been kind of slowly coming out of your lane and being lured into the wrong lanes, as it were. And Margaret said she needed to hear this Margaret. She was also known as Mags, she's telling me. Now, it doesn't matter if this Margaret or Mags doesn't mean anything to you, or the name doesn't mean anything to you. Often I'll get names, and you know, people say, no, can't relate to a Margaret, or I can't relate to Mags, or whoever the name is. And I'll often, my advice there is write it down, keep a hold of it, you know, bring it up in conversation with family, because chances are, even though we may not know the name, family will. It could be somebody in your family tree, or down the ancestral line, because even our ancestors who we don't know, they are still with us. No problem. I'll keep a hold of the name anyway, because I feel that there's a Mags or a Margaret that's come through. Or sometimes when they give me a name and it's a lady comes through, that's not necessarily also, I'm just asking if Margaret or Mags is this lady's name that's speaking to me, or whether she's relating to somebody else. Because that's happened a few times. A lady's come through and they've given me a name, and I'm automatically assuming, okay, this lady's come through, her name's Margaret, Mags, whatever else. So I'm just asking her for confirmation in this. Okay. Right, she's confirming that her name is Margaret or Mags, but she's saying to find her, it would be on your mother's timeline, or your mother's lifeline. So somewhere in your mother's family tree, there is a Margaret or a Mags. And she's saying skip maybe 1 or 2 generations. Right, so when she's saying skip maybe 2 or 3 generations, I'm thinking she is maybe an ancestor to your mum, i.e. an auntie, great auntie or a gran or a great gran, somewhere along that line. Probably more great than an auntie or grandma. I feel that she's a great somewhere along the line. So she's kind of, she says, almost forgotten. So when they're saying almost forgotten, it's, you know, we have ancestors, like I have a great great grandmother who has been my guide since I was a child, yet I never knew her. She was way back in the 1800s, and she was on my mother's side, and I had to dig deep in my mum's family tree to find this lady. And I found that her life was very much parallel to mine. So even though you don't know this Margaret or Mags, jot it down and keep a hold of it, because you just, you know, and talk to family, because you don't know. I feel that this woman says that she's been in spirit so long, it's quite possible that she's probably forgotten somewhere down the line, which often happens. You know, you go to a cemetery and you see all these ancient names, you know, 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, etc. And you think, wow, I wonder if there are anybody alive that still puts flowers down. That goes through my mind a lot when I visit cemeteries. I look at the dates that they were born and the dates that they passed, and I'm like, wow, that was many, like a couple of 100 years ago. I wonder if there's, you know, relatives, ancestors that are still alive, you know, ascendants from her or him that are still alive, just to put flowers down, you know. And sadly, we probably find that there's many graves unattended because they've been there for so long, which is pretty sad. Yeah, it pretty is. But I feel she's happy that you got this message, because she's saying she definitely needs this message right now. You know, because when you put other people's feelings and thoughts and judgments behind you, she says your colours shine bright, right? You're radiant, you're happy, you go forward, you do the things that make you happy, etc., etc. And then somebody comes along and gives you a little knock or a little nudge, and then you take 2 or 3 steps back. And she's saying never ever take 2 or 3 steps back just to please one person. Because if by you being you, the right people will want to be with you. So just keep being you and keep those beautiful, bright, vibrant, bright, happy colours shining through. And never let anyone dim your light is the message to your card. And I'm so glad that that was relevant for you today, because I love this card. This, out of all the moon cards, I think that one has to be my ultimate favourite card. Because it's so relevant to just a lot of people, you know. So even if you're watching this live on a playback and you're, you know, or replay, and you're listening to somebody else's reading or whatever else, which can happen. I go on other readers' lives and I sit there and watch, and the cards that come out, and I'm like, I can relate to that. Even though that card is for somebody else, I can relate to that. And you know what? I found a nugget that I can keep. I found a gem that I can keep. And I can use that card or that advice in my everyday life. And I can use it as a reminder. You know, keeping an affirmation, keeping a thoughts journal, I find has helped me hugely. You know, I find I wake up in the morning and I think, right, okay, it's a new day. You know, what's my affirmation? Or, you know, I recently did a 10-day I am thankful. daily trial. It was a daily test that we do with the Avera people, and I thought, I'm going to do that. How hard can that be, right? To actually wake up every day and choose one thing that we're thankful for. And I did it for the 10 days, and the things that I didn't, just took for granted, like family, my pets, my beautiful little parrots and stuff, my grandchildren, etc. Things we take for granted that we don't really think about. But yet if we set ourselves targets to be thankful every day for something that we have, because so many people in life go around and complain about the things that they haven't got. You hear it all the time, right? Facebook can be so full of negativity sometimes, and I have to remind myself to rise above that negativity. So now if I'm scrolling through Facebook and it's negative, I just scroll by. I don't stop. But I just think by giving yourself something that you're actually thankful for, and you realize, like if, for example, people moan all the time, I've not got money, I've not got a fancy house, I've not got a fancy car, I haven't got this and I haven't got that. But Mrs. Jones down the street, she's got 3 cars, she's got a fancy house, she's got all of this. We're too busy looking at what the Joneses have got. And yet we forget the riches that we actually have. Because what if Mrs. Jones next door suddenly became unemployed? And she lost her big house, and she lost her 3 cars, and she lost all of the stuff that she had. What has she got left, right? She's got nothing left. But if we can then say, well, you know what? Family. As long as I've got family, as long as I've got a roof over my head and I can pay my bills, I don't need any more than that, right? I've got heat, I've got warmth, I've got family, I've got food on my table, I've got clothes on my back, right? And it doesn't have to be designer clothes on my back either. I'm just grateful that I've got clothes that I can wear. I've got cool clothes for that keep me cool in the summer, and I've got my woolies to keep me warm in the winter. And I'm grateful for that, because there are so many people in life that don't even have that. So, I love that the cards can remind us of the many blessings that we have, and just to be ourselves and just to be thankful for who we are. I just think it's wonderful. And I love the cards of the day because it's a general card, and that card of the day can actually mean something to so many people, not just one person. So I'd like to thank you for being my very first tonight to actually get a card. I don't know if we've got anybody else joining us. I am here till sort of 9, well, I'm going to say 10 past 9 because I was a little bit late. And we are now kind of like 10 to 8, so we've got another hour and 10 minutes. So we may get more people joining on. But in the meantime, because I haven't done a card of the day, I think while I'm waiting on other people joining in, I will combine this and do a little card of the day. And I'm going to use, let's use my Old Faithful for the card of the day. Why not? So I'm just going to give this a little shuffle and see what the card of the day is. If you do hear a clicking in the background, it is my parrot trying to do a Houdini escape. He loves chewing on the bars of his cage. I used to call him Houdini because he used to be an escape artist. My mum, I inherited the parrots from my mother, who's now passed. And I remember she bought a cage, and it was one of Rocky, my oldest parrot's first cages. And it had one of these little doors that you kind of just swung the clip open and you could open the door. And unbeknownst to my mother, Rocky kept watching how my mother was opening this cage. So one morning she got up to find that Rocky was plodding around, quite happy with himself, quite content because he had escaped his cage, and was happily destroying my mother's wallpaper on the wall, and chewing my dad's newspaper and getting up to all sorts of mischief. And she had to buy those little tiny, what did they call them? Little tiny key locks, padlocks, that's the word I'm looking for. So she bought the little miniature padlocks, and she actually had to padlock the doors shut. And that was so funny that she had to go and buy them to keep Rocky in. And then she got a new cage, and it had a different type of clip that had a little spring lock on it, kind of thing. And he managed to work out how that worked as well. So out came the little padlocks once more. So it's quite funny. He's a very clever parrot, and he's very he watches every move. So it's like he tries lots of ways to escape his cage. Bless him. The goddess loves a trier. But yeah, my father named him Rocky after the I think he was a boxer. I think he was a professional boxer, and his name was Rocky Marciano. So when my dad first got Rocky, he called him Rocky Marciano after the boxer, and he repeated the parrot's name for a long, long time, so that the parrot would copy it. And Rocky now comes out with Rocky Mano. He can't quite get the Marciano, so he comes out with Rocky Mano, which is quite funny. But yeah, he's quite a free-spirited bird. He's one of these parrots that have never been able to get tamed. He's always remained a rogue, a wild rogue, I call him. But I love him nevertheless. He's quite a cheeky character, and I just love that he's himself. Although he can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but yeah, he's very much himself. I just love that he's got that personality. So let's see what today's card of the day is. So today's card of the day is the Hanged Man. All right. So the Hanged Man reminds us that sometimes in life, isn't it? He's cute. Is not how I would think of Rocky, but I do love his antics. I just love his antics. But he can be cute as well, because you can tell him off, and he'll just give you that feel sorry for me look. He'll tilt his head and just kind of like, I'm sorry, Mum, and then carries on what he was doing in the first place. But yeah, he does have his cute moments. So the Hanged Man reminds us, maybe if this card speaks to you today, if you're watching this card for the card as part of the card of the day, just because we're having a quiet session, the Hanged Man is basically saying, stop hanging around, right? You've got a decision to make, right? Or you've got to decide on what you want to do in life. You've got to decide which direction to go. But you've been sitting on the fence. And you've been thinking, I'll go this way, but then maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do this. But then maybe I won't do that either, and maybe I'll do something different. and maybe I'm not good enough for this, or I'd like to do that, but I'm not qualified to do it, right? I don't have the experience to do it. I don't have the tools to do it, right? Or I'd like to go to this place. I'd like to visit America. I'd like to go to Europe. I'd like to go to Spain. I'd like to teach. I'd like to do. We all have that I'd like to do, right? We've all got that, that bucket list that we want to do. And guess what? Most of the time, it stays in our bucket list, right? And it never comes out that bucket list, or it stays up here and it never goes anywhere. And today's card is coming to let you know that if this card speaks to you, it's time to get off the fence. Because sitting on the fence just does not get the day's job done, right? It just doesn't get anything done. And you could sit on the fence from morning to night. And then the next day, what do? You sit on the fence from morning to night. And still, nothing gets done. You haven't made a conscious decision to get the job done, right? Or we put doubts in our minds, our own minds. What if? Right? I do it myself. There are days myself, I'm not perfect, I have a spiritual mind, I have a spiritual soul, but I have a human mind, and sometimes my human mind can put doubt where there shouldn't be doubt. But we all kind of think, I'd like to do that, but what if I fail? What if I can't do that? What if I do that and somebody judges me for it? What if I do that and people laugh? Or people think, yeah, she's lost the plot. What if? So guess what? Those what ifs stay as a pipe dream, or they stay on that bucket list. It never manifests itself. It never comes into fruition. And we can spend our whole life leaving it in the bucket list until one day we realise it's too late. We're too old to do it, or the notion's just worn off, whatever. And we end our lives thinking, I wish I could have done that. I wish I hadn't sat on the fence on that one. And I wish I had just gone with it. And you might have 2 or 3 different options. And if you've got 2 or 3 different options, take those 3 options. Take them out of here and write them down. Right? So, an example of that was, you've maybe got 3 jobs that you are applying for, if it's a job that you're going for. Right? So, job number 1, right? Could be a rocket scientist, right? Now you're going to be wanting to go and you haven't got the skills for that, but you could go to university, you could go to college, you could get all those degrees. Though it's going to take 3 or 4 years to get those degrees or whatever else. But if that was what you really, really wanted, then that would be worth it, right? Job number 2, right? Could be that you want to do natural healing. So you look at, well, what would I need to do for that? Right? I could become a Reiki master. I could spend a year doing my Reiki 1, 2 and masters and master teacher. And then I could help heal others. And then maybe job number 3, being a teacher of some kind. Again, write it down. What do I need to do if I need to be a teacher? And once you've done that, look at the 3 options, right? And look at the finances that you would need for that. Which of those 3 options, 1, speak louder than the other? 2, that are more practical and more realistic that you can do, and that you know that even though you may not have the skills right now to do that particular job, because it means so much to you and it sings loudly to your soul, and it just won't go away, that little niggle won't go away, you know that that's got to be the one. It doesn't matter how much we have to train for that. It doesn't matter how much work we have to put into that. If it has meaning for us, we can do that, and then we can disregard the other two. So it could be out of those three choices. You might be thinking, well, rocket scientists, there's a lot of science in that. There's a lot of things that, it's going to bog me down. I'm just not, it doesn't speak out to me. And then you look at the healer or the teacher and you think, you know what, I love children. I love the fact that I'm able to, I could be able to go and stand up in front of a class of children and teach them. And somewhere in their adulthood, they'll remember their teacher and say, oh, I liked Mrs. or I liked Mr. So-and-so because he was a great teacher. How many of our kids say that when they grow up, right? I remember when I was at school, my favourite teacher was X, Y, and Z. You could be that teacher, right? And your legacy as a teacher lives on in those. It's the same with the healer. The legacy of a healer lives on. I still get people contacting me and saying how grateful that I was for coming into their lives. Especially a mom. Many years ago, there was a mom. She was fighting for her life. And one of her friends contacted me and gave me her name and the hospital she was in. And she said, Lady Moonlight, I'd be so grateful if you could send this lady some healing. She has a 2-year-old child and a husband that is facing losing his wife and the mother of his children. And she has 2 other children. And it's heartbreaking to see the dad keeping strong for the children, but also for himself. And if there's anything that you can do, this poor woman had had an accident. She was paralyzed. She was in a coma. She couldn't move anything, couldn't do anything. And I actually asked for his address, and I made a bracelet for this lady with crystals in it, and I also put some Reiki healing in it, and I added her to my daily Reiki healing list, and I sent her some distant healing. At the time that her family received the bracelet, they had been called into the hospital and told that this lady had 24 hours to live. The dad immediately took the bracelet and asked the nurses, can I put this on my wife? Please let me put this on my wife. And he was allowed to let his wife wear this bracelet. And my friend who had asked me to send these healing prayers and these healing thoughts to this family wrote to me a week later, thanking me for sending me that bracelet for her to give to the family. Because not only had the woman survived the 24 hours, she was awake, she could not speak, but she could blink her eyes once for yes and 2 for no. And I was asked if I would continue to send healing. For many weeks I continued to send the healing and to send healing prayers to this woman and her family. Now, over in the States, I know that they're not as fortunate as we are in the UK, and they have insurance for their health stuff. And this woman's insurance had run out. And the hospital had said, you're going to have to take her home, care for her at home. Now, my friend at the time that asked me for the help, she was a nurse. She gave up her free time to actually go in and help this family. And as the weeks went on, doctors claimed this woman was a walking miracle because she went from being paralyzed and only able to use her eyes to being able to move her hands, to be able to start learning to speak again. And the last I heard, she was learning to walk again. So, never put off tomorrow what you could be doing today, because you just never know where your decision will take you. And the days when I think about giving up doing my readings or giving up doing my healing, I remember this woman. And I'm thinking, I can't give up my healing. I can't give up my readings. No matter what other people's judgments of me may be along life's road, I just can't give up my readings or my healing because so many people could lose out. Wow. Well, do you know what? If it keeps going on and off and on and off, the card is basically telling you, don't put it off anymore. Definitely do that. I think personally that this card then and the card of the day definitely both cards are speaking to you on a very similar plane. So the message for me to you would be, obviously, go for it. Don't put it off. Definitely do that. Go for it full steam ahead. And if it speaks to you louder than anything else and it keeps coming back, I always say, if you write something down and that thought comes back to you, right? How many of us, for example, have been in a shop, right? And we've seen something on the shelf and we think, oh, that's really nice, but I can't justify getting that, or I don't deserve to get that, or it's a bit extravagant for me, or whatever else. Nah, I'm not going to bother. And we go home, and for a wee while we forget about it, and then all of a sudden it comes into your mind, you just see it on that shelf, and you're like, nah, I'll just leave it, and it just keeps coming back, and it keeps coming back, and it keeps on coming back. Is it an accident that keeps on coming back? No, it's the universe telling you, stop hanging around. Because if you hang around too long, it's gone. And how many times has that happened to us in life and we've gone back to get it after waiting maybe weeks or months, only to find that it's no longer on the shelf, somebody got there before you. And then you end up kicking yourself because you didn't go for it. Right? This is the same decision that you're facing right now. All right? The fact that you're mulling around with it and thinking, will I do my teaching? Will I not do my teaching? And the fact that it keeps coming back up. It keeps coming back to your mind. Now, if it wasn't meant to be, because the universe knows exactly what's in store for us. It knows, it can see our past, present, and it can also see our future, right? So if it keeps coming back, the universe is basically telling you, you need to do this. Stop hanging around. Build your confidence. Sometimes it's a case of coming out of our comfort zone. It's the safest place to be the most safe place to be on this planet is in your own comfort zone, right? Nobody wants to leave their own comfort zone. I remember when I started out my Mystic Witch, and I'm thinking, I can't go live. I can't, go live and do readings for complete strangers or whatever else. I just can't do that. But when I did my first initial live, and I started getting people's comments, and I thought, do you know what, I can do this. And it builds up your confidence. And yes, now and again, I might get a comment, especially on YouTube. YouTube's, you've got a lot of negative Nancys, as I call them on YouTube, right? And when I started, and when I had opened up the Mystic Witch YouTube channel, and I started sharing my live videos that I do here on my YouTube, and I got a comment from somebody, and it was quite a negative comment, and it was kind of like, oh really, that kind of thing, or this sucks, or that kind of thing. Now I could have decided right at that minute to take down all my videos on the Mystic Witch on YouTube, and I thought, what, for one negative Nancy? Really? For one negative Nancy, I'm going to just crash my own dreams down of helping other people. And that video's still there. Now I have the option to remove that negative Nancy comment. I decided to leave it. And all I did was reply with a question mark, question mark, question mark, as if to say, well, please let me know what you find not so happy with the reading. Maybe I can answer a question. Needless to say, they never replied. But never ever allow self-doubt to take over confidence. If it speaks loudly to you, if something keeps coming back and something keeps coming back, and it just feels right. Everyone has a natural intuition as well, right? That gut instinct, right? So maybe we need to, what I often do if I've got a decision to make, before I go to my bed, I always keep a little dream journal by my bed. Before I go to bed, I'll say, right, okay, universe, this is my dilemma. I really want to do this, but I don't know if this is the right road for me. Come on, help a girl out here, please. I'd be ever so grateful, right? And words to that effect. And I'll go to my bed, and I will do my evening grounding and meditation, as I do every day, just to clear all my chakras, and I go to sleep. And often I'll get a dream where I see myself doing that very thing. So I wake up in the morning, and I grab my dream journal, and I just put, go for it. I've got my answer, go for it. And when I wrote that in my dream journal, my gut instinct turned around and as if to say, yeah, you've got it. Finally, she's got it. It's kind of like the universe tells us, finally you've got it. Finally you're listening. Finally you're following your gut. How many of us in life have that gut feeling to do something, or even not to do something, right? Because it works both ways with our natural intuition, right? We might want to do something, and our gut is telling us, don't go there, don't go there, you're going to regret it, right? But the human brain is basically saying, oh, go on, be a devil, go on, go do it, right? But your gut, instinctively that it doesn't feel right, but you go and do it anyway, and guess what? Yep, everything goes tits up, right? Everything just goes so wrong. And then what do? I should have listened to my gut instinct. I should have listened to that inner voice, and I wouldn't be in the mess that I'm in today. But if your gut instinct is saying, you got to do this, you really got to get off this fence and do this, and then you go against it, what's going to happen is your intuition, the universe, is going to throw that baseball back straight at you, as if to say, I'm not going anywhere. You got to do this. You know, I have so many people come to me on a monthly basis for a reading, and they'll get the same card 2 months in a row. And one lady said to me, Lady Moonlight, why is it I'm coming to you for the readings, and my past card is now in my present? It's the same card. The same card that I had in my past last month is now in my present. Why is that? Or the same card that I had in my present is now in my future. Why is that? And often I'll say to them, well, did you follow that advice last month? Did you follow the universe advice? Did you follow the cards advice? And I already know before they answer that they're going to say no. Didn't do it. And my reply then would be, well, do you know what? This month it's in your present. And if you're going to still hang around, next month it's going to be in your future. Because it ain't going anywhere until you deal with the situation. It ain't going anywhere till you get off the fence and deal with that. And, you know, that woman came back to me a couple months later for a reading, and the card was gone. And she said, I'm so relieved that that card's no longer there. She says, because, you know, a month on after that reading, I followed the card's advice. I went for it. Scary though it may be, I went for it. And she says, now that card's not there, it's a new batch of cards. So if you ever go to anyone for a reading, more than once, and that same card keeps popping up, chances are you didn't listen the first time round, so the universe is going to repeat, and it's going to keep repeating until one day we actually hear it. You know, we just need to look at the world that we live in just now, right? We're full of chemicals, etc. We've got tsunamis happening, there's storms, the weather, oh my goodness me, right? You know, we're getting snow in summer, we're getting milder winters sometimes, or sometimes we're getting Siberian winters in early September, October, November. And not once does anyone actually question that, right? They just think, oh, very strange weather, right? But as a traditional witch and a reader and a guardian to Mother Earth, I know it's Mother Earth saying, I'm shouting at you. I'm making you feel uncomfortable because you're making me ill with your chemicals, with your pollution, whatever. And if I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to make you uncomfortable. Right? You know, and still, people don't put two and two together. Still, people don't listen. Right? Because we just keep hanging around doing the same thing. Never really paying attention to the signs that are around us. The universe is always, always, always giving us signs. It's up to us whether we listen or not. As my mother used to say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You know, and that's kind of how I am with my card readings. You know, I never know what the universe is going to pull up. I never know what card is going to come out of the deck. But I trust it. 1000% I trust it, because if I didn't trust in my own skills, if I didn't trust in my own intuition, what was the point in me being here in the first place? You know, and it's a bit like what I was saying earlier on in my readings, you know, reading people's comments about me on Facebook, especially the doubters and the haters and, you know, the ones that kind of do things through jealousy, you know. I guess a lot of people want to be Lady Moonlight, right? But there's only one me. There's only one them. I can't be somebody that I'm not. And I've never claimed to be that. And, you know, my outlook on those that judge me for what I do is, that's fine. You know, that's your choice to judge or to think of me how you will. Will it stop me doing what I'm doing? No. Because at the end of the day, if you don't like me, scroll on by. You know, there's lots of people on Facebook that, you know, I look through their videos and stuff and I think, not for me, but I wish them well. Would I judge them? No, because they're not me. You know, they're busy doing them. They're busy being them, doing them. You know, self-love is so important. Self-love, self-care. You know, if you learn to love the person you are, right? Because every one of us is unique. Every one of us has a special gift. We're not supposed to be the same. The universe didn't create us the same way. We're all different for a reason. Wouldn't it be a boring life if we were all the same? But each one of us has got their own gifts, their own skills, and their own light to shine on the earth. And if we learn to love ourselves unconditionally, we put ourselves first in absolutely everything else that we do, the right people will follow. And the right people will find you. And you'll help them just as much as they help you. And that's what it's all about. Now, I once had somebody tell me that my prices were too low for my readings, or my prices were too low for my healing. So therefore I must be a bad healer, or I must be a bad reader, right? Why do people think that? What is it with the world that makes people think, well, if I go to a reader or a healer that's charging, let's say £80 for a reading, or I go to Lady Moonlight who's charging £20 for a reading. Well, Lady Moonlight's only charging 20. She can't be that great, right? Because she's keeping her prices low. So I'll go to the one at 80. And they spend £80 for a 20-minute reading. £80. To me, that's a hell of a lot of reading for 20 minutes work. A hell of a lot of money as well for 20 minutes work. And chances are they'll find that, one, the reading wasn't true, because the reader was more interested in getting the extra pound notes under their belt more than valuing the skills that they have. So why do I keep my prices low? Because not everybody in this world can afford £80–90 for a reading. Not everybody in this world can get the answers that they need from a reading in just 20 minutes for £80. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes for me it takes 20 minutes for a spirit to warm up, let alone get all the answers. Why do I keep my prices low? So that I can reach everyone, from the high earners to the low earners. Because there are people in dire straits, especially in this time of COVID. People have lost their jobs. They've lost their self-esteem. They're on the edge, and they're looking for answers. The last thing they want to be seeing is going to a spiritual reader and having to fork out £80. for a reading. And it's those very people in need that are going to seek out Lady Moonlight, that are going to seek out the Mystic Witch. So, because I don't read for money, I don't heal for money. But you know, I value my time as well. So I have to charge something, right? But even though I charge for my readings and my healing, I give freely as well. I do my cards of the day. You know, I'm going to be starting a healing list on here so that if anyone has anyone who is sick, please put their name on the healing list and I will send free Reiki to them. Absolutely free. And in doing so, I can help others get well. And I do that because at the end of the day, it's not the money, it's the skill. I wasn't born with pound notes in my pocket, right? I wasn't born into this world with wealth and fame or popularity. I came into this world with nothing, and guess what? We go out of this world with nothing. So it's about being humble enough to respect the gifts that we are given in life and not lead by ego. Don't ever lead by ego or greed or whatever, because a high price tag doesn't always necessarily mean you're getting the better reader. It just doesn't. Thank you for the hearts. Because, you know, I actually had that conversation with my neighbour next door. She's very much into spiritual stuff. And she said, oh, I didn't know that you were a reader, and how much do you charge for your readings? And I told her, and she said, oh, I take it you're a relatively new reader then, because that's really low price. And I said, no, I've been reading for many, many years, at least 40 years I've been doing card readings, spiritual card readings. And I said to her, what made you think that? And she said, your prices are low. She says, normally experienced readers, their prices are high. And I found that really, really interesting. And I explained to her, well, money's not an issue for me. That's not, you know, money's not my god or goddess. Money's not my everything. You know, as long as I've got a roof over my head, food on the table, and able to pay my bills, I'm quite happy and content at that. And if I need anything else or anything extra, I can save up for that. That's not an issue. You know, and I'm thinking, where would I, you know, what would I achieve with having extra money? What would I spend on that? Probably not. I would probably spend more on natural skincare because I love my natural skincare and my natural products. But money's never brought me happiness, and it never will. So it's not my ultimate aim. That doesn't mean to say that I don't put my heart and soul into my readings. Of course I do. I just don't put a high price tag on them because I want to reach everyone. I want to be able to help everyone. And if you're on the breadline and you're looking for a reader, and you're seeing that readers are anything from 30, 40, 50 pounds up, your heart's going to sink, right? Because you're looking for a reader that's going to help to give you advice, etc. And your purse strings just don't go that far. And I don't want to be that reader that people look for and think I can't go and see Lady Moonlight because it's too high a price tag. So I have to go somewhere else. So, you know, just because readers have a low price tag, don't judge them as bad readers or false readers or fake readers. chances are they are doing exactly what I do. Money's not the issue. Helping, money isn't the goal. Helping other people is the goal. And that's what the Mystic Witch is all about. It's helping people through readings. Excuse my birds, they're getting a bit noisy. It's helping people through readings. It's helping people through healing. It's helping people find natural products that's going to better their health, their skincare, etc. And it's helping the earth as well, because we're not putting more chemicals into the earth. That's what the Mystic Witch is all about. That's why I started the Mystic Witch. And the Mystic Witch might not be for everybody, right? Some people don't care about chemicals. Some people don't care what they're putting on their skin or their health or whatever else until it's too late. I lost both parents to cancer. That's a big, huge wake-up call for me. That was massive. Losing my two best friends through cancer. And they used a lot of products that had chemicals in them. Sunscreens that had chemicals in them. My father was a sun worshipper and he loved going abroad. And he loved getting a tan. Never once crossed his mind to put sunscreen on or whatever. And he got cancer. My mum was the same. She loved the sun. She wasn't one for creams and potions or whatever else. And if she was, she didn't care what she put on her skin. And I didn't want to be that family tradition, family statistic. I didn't want to be the next in line to get that big C word. And I knew that because my skin was chemical sensitive, that was the universe telling me, you're here to teach. You're here to help the earth, to help people get better, to help people understand what's going on in this world that we're living in, and to give people choices. My life hasn't been rosy. It's been less than rosy. I've come from 50 years of abuse, bullying, harassment, you name it, until I met my wonderful partner 7.5 years ago, who changed my life for the better. And my confidence grew. And I knew that I went through all of that and more, because had I not gone through all of that, how could I help other women that go through abuse to escape abuse? If I hadn't gone through being bullied, how could I help the victims of bullying? If I hadn't got chemical sensitive skin, how would I have been able to search for products that don't have those nasty chemicals? I wouldn't. And the Mystic Witch would not be born. So everything in this world happens for a reason. And sometimes we see that reason and sometimes we don't. And I know it's only been a very quiet, it has been a quiet reading, and I do thank Aileen for, I hope I pronounced your name right. If I haven't, I do apologise, but I do thank you for being with me tonight, and just, it's been a thought-provoking card reading, even though it's just the two of us. And it's made me realise too that, it doesn't matter when I do my lives, whether there's one person, whether there's 1,000 people watching my lives. If I can make a difference to just one person, then my job's done. And I can kind of go on with my life. And when that, when cards have a meaning. When cards actually speak to other people, I know I'm doing the right thing. And, you know, please do go for your teaching. Do your teaching. Because the universe is basically shouting at you to do it because you're going to be wonderful at it. You're going to be achieving all the things. And I know that you're going to come back to me in a few months' time and you're going to say, you know what, I'm so glad I got those 2 cards, and I'm so glad I got off the fence and I did that. Yeah, exactly. It was meant to be the way it worked out. And I have so many women that I've helped through abuse, that I've helped through sickness. You know, and some people are saying, you know, come to me and say, well, I'm sick, and I can't get any better. And I says, well, what have you changed in your life? And they might have tried a new product, or they might have been given a new medication. And then they can pinpoint it, well, actually, you're right, you know, since taking that medication or since doing this or that, my health has gone downhill. So, you know, we help each other to pinpoint things and to make life a better place for us. I just love doing what I do. I love doing my readings. I love, you know, sending Reiki healing. I love Reiki because I can do my spiritual reading in person, hands-on. But spiritual reading does not reach other countries, right? It doesn't reach around the world. Reiki is a universal healing energy that is in every living thing on this planet. It's in the plants, it's in the water, it's in the grass, it's in the trees, it's in human beings, it's in animals, it's in the air that we breathe, it's in the universe as a whole. The energy is all around us. But as our body gets stressed, that Reiki universal healing depletes and we get sick. And using ancient universal symbols, a Reiki master or a Reiki practitioner can put that Reiki energy back and healing begins. That to me was one of my goals in early life. And I was determined I was going to do my Reiki. And I was going to do my Reiki 1, 2, and Masters and Master Teacher. It took me 4 years to do that. And I remember one of my Reiki Masters saying, your energy is unique. You've got something more than Reiki. Yeah, I've got spiritual healing. So when I'm sending Reiki healing to others in the world, not only am I using the sacred symbols to send that healing to whoever needs it in the world, but because I'm also a spiritual healer, they get a little bit of that in their Reiki as well. Hello, Lucy. No, you're fine if you're a little bit late. We've still got another, 50 minutes? No, 20 minutes. We've still got another 20 minutes. Would you like a card, my love? Me and Aileen just been putting the world to rights. I think we spent about like an hour and a half just, yeah. We did. We put the world to rights, right, Aileen? We've just had... You have to watch the replay, Lucy. But no, it's fine. Okay, well today you have a choice of the Old Faithfuls, or you can choose a moon card, my love. What would you like? Decisions. She's like, I like both of those cards. Which one will I choose? The Old Faithfuls or the Moons? The Old Faithful. I knew you were going to choose them, but I thought you might, I thought she's going to ask for the Old Faithfuls, but she may do a curveball and choose the moon cards, but the Old Faithfuls it is. Okay, let's give them trouble. And I'm asking your Nan, please do not. She did. Chuck my cards. Right, this time I'm putting them in the right order. Right, okay. She chucked 2 or 3 cards there, so I'm sorry, Nan, but I'm shuffling. Oh my goodness me. Every time, it never fails when I'm doing Lucy's cards that my cards just, when I'm shuffling them, right, I'm going to split them now before the Nan decides to chuck them everywhere. And now Rocky's joining in as well. Oh, of course, yeah, I forgot you had the moon cards. Yeah, well that's a good dilemma for me when I'm reading my own cards, because I have the moon cards and the Old Faithful, so it's like, well, which ones do I choose? What ones I'm going to choose today? I have no idea. I have about 50 decks. I really need to look through my decks and maybe throw a curveball and do confuse you all and do a totally different deck. I might do that one day. I might surprise you with a completely different deck. Rocky Marciano, be quiet. Okay, so let's just shuffle. No, I'm not going to shuffle. I'm going to split them. I know where the cards will end up if I shuffle the cards, so I'm splitting them. And your Nan's cheerily laughing at me, as she always does. I'm glad your Nan finds me so amusing. Oh, wow, wow, wow. You've got the 3 of Pentacles. Okay, give me 2 minutes, because I'm going to settle Rocky down, because I'm sure your Nan sets my bird off. Every time Lucy comes on, Rocky gets vocal. I knew you were coming. I knew you were coming. Give me 2 seconds. And apparently I'm unbelievable. Don't you just love my birds? Oh my goodness. Nothing like telling your birds off and you're getting told you're unbelievable. Honestly, that's Rocky. He's my little rogue bird. Rio's the opposite. Rio's very quiet, very laid back. But Rocky, oh my gosh. Rebel with a cause, that one. Or without a cause, whatever it may be. 3 of Pentacles. Okay? I feel that new things are coming. I don't know whether you have been thinking of a new craft or a new skill. I know that most of your cards in the past have all been job related, but I feel this card isn't job related, right? I feel there is something that you have realized that you're good at, and you've maybe put this on the back burner for a long time, but suddenly you've been called to reignite that passion or reignite that flame. And often when the 3 of Pentacles comes into play, it's often talking about a natural gift that we have. For example, one of the natural things that I know that I can do is I make jewellery and I put Reiki healing in it and I send it as Reiki jewellery. And for a while, I stopped doing it. I stopped making my crafts. I stopped doing my paintings, etc. And just recently, you know, I had a family member come to me and say, I've just broke my pendant, and it's my protective pendant, and I feel lost without it. And I told them, I'll get you a new one, but in the meantime, I'll make you one. And that light bulb came on in a moment. And it was there to say, why did you stop? Why did you stop making, you know, your jewellery, your dream catchers, all the stuff that can help so many people? And it was right. I had put that on the back burner. And who doesn't like a bit of jewellery? And to have that jewellery that has healing in it. So I have started in my spare time, when I find that spare minute or two, making my jewellery again. And I'm also going to start making my dream catchers again as well, so watch this space. But for you, this card is basically saying the light bulb has come on for you, right? So I feel that this is a craft of some kind, and you've had your doubts in the past, but you've got the skills, you've got the know-how to do this. You've just not put it into practice, if that makes sense. Yeah, well there you go. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you've started doing, because I was thinking more of your cross stitching that you do, because that's really beautiful, the cross stitching that you do. But yeah, I forgot you've started doing your photography, which I believe you got a degree in as well. So I guess the universe is saying, come on, you've got a degree in it. You've worked hard for that degree. You've worked hard for getting that document that says you've got the skills to do this. But you haven't done anything with it. And now is your chance to do something with it. Not just doing it for the love of doing it, but that can also lead to another income, a better income. Because when you're good at a craft, when you're good at with your hands, and this is what this card's all about, is about crafting with your hands, with the tools at your disposal. Crafting, you know, an artist has not necessarily been at art school, but they have this natural gift to put paint to paper, or they've got this natural gift to make healing products, or to make products and put healing in it. I can put healing into anything. You know, I can, when my kids were younger, I was able to put spiritual healing into their teddies, into their dolls, into their toys, because that's the things they hugged at night. That's the things they found comfort in. And I did the same with my grandchildren. And when my grandchildren were young and they got sick, they didn't want their mum. They wanted Gran. And when their mum asked them, what is so special about your Gran when you're sick? And it's because she says she gives us healing hugs. When she hugs us, we feel better. When we hug her teddies, her dolls, we feel better. So it's about taking something that you've worked for, something that you were once passionate about, but put it on the back burner. Now's the time to take it out. Dust it down and go somewhere with it, right? Especially now that you've got the job of your dreams as well, because sometimes we forget the best customers for our crafts are the people we work with, or the people that are, you know, on our friends list, or the people that we communicate with or contact every single day. Could be the local shopkeeper, right? If you're in a small village like I am, you get to know the shopkeepers by name, and they get to know you. or the post office, when I was posting all my crafts, and especially if it was to America or out west, and they would say, what's in the parcel? And I would say a dream catcher, or I would say jewellery, crystal jewellery. Oh, what type of jewellery is it? And you get into a conversation, and before you know it, you've got new customers, etc. It's a bit like the Mystic Witch and the readings. I started off with like 10 people in this group. I think now we've got up to 83, I believe, in this group. Yeah, exactly. If you're good at something, sell it. And you get a little bit of extra income into it. And the way I look at it, when I sell a piece of jewellery or I sell a dream catcher, that extra money that I get can buy me more crystals. Who doesn't love crystals, right? Or it can buy me a new canvas. Or it can buy me a new hoop or a loop to make the next dream catcher. And there's nothing I find more relaxing than weaving a web of a dream catcher and weaving crystals into it. I absolutely love that. It's so relaxing to be able to sit sometimes at night and just weave a dream catcher, or to bead my jewellery or whatever, and then putting your work out there, and that your products are going to help people. That's what it's all about. Yeah, me too. My crystals, if I keep going and collecting my crystals, I think I'm going to have to get another room. Build another outhouse or a shed or something to keep them in, because I just do not know where I'm going to put them all. Even my little candle that I light for my readings, that's a selenite candle holder. I just love the energy of that. And it's beautiful when it's all lit up and it's all glowing and stuff. I like my crystals. I love my salt lamps. My salt lamps are my go-to because, in fact, I need to put my salt lamp back in here because it stops the allergies. It stops any allergies in the house. We have one in the living room and we have one in our master bedroom. I do have one in here, and I need to start putting it on in here as well. It's not been on for a while, so I maybe do a cleanse tomorrow and put my salt lamp back in here, because I do love my natural Himalayan salt lamps. They are just lovely. That's the thing, Lucy. I have a designated shelf for my crystals. But that designated shelf is now full. And I don't have another designated shelf unless I clear another shelf away and make room for my crystals. Oh, dilemmas. Yeah. But yeah, I do love my crystals, I have to say. I've got so many crystals. Nan's just laughing at my crystal collection. She just finds it really, really. But no, your Nan is saying feathers and more feathers. She's talking about feathers. I'm assuming she's liking your feather prints, or there is another feather to be found. Because I think it's more to the paintings. I think she likes your feather print very much. She says it's really, really pretty. Oh, wow. Right, okay, that's why she's saying feathers, feathers, feathers then. Because I'm like, what? Feathers, feathers, feathers. So I'm like, all right, feathers, feathers, feathers. Does that mean she's leaving feathers something, or does that mean you've been working with feathers? Now that makes sense. She could have at least told me that. I'm just thinking, well, she liked the. I know that you showed me your feather picture lately, but I'm thinking, no, that was a wee while back. That was a week or two back that you showed us the feather print that you'd done. But she's like, no, there's feathers, feathers. It's like feathers, feathers everywhere. So that would make sense. So you've just had a delivery of feathers. Oh, magpie ones. You know, in the summer, we had a lot of magpies in the garden. And I used to be so disappointed because out of all the magpies, not one of them left me a feather. And when I was going through some not so good stuff, all I was able to see was crow's feathers, which I understood. I got that because the crows were warning me of the bad stuff that was coming up. Luckily, that's kind of disappeared. And I'm able to move on from that. But then when I least expected it, I was out hanging my washing out on a beautiful blue sky sunny day, and I just happened to look down at my feet and there was a magpie feather. And I just thought, wow. And it's funny because 2 days ago, I was feeding our 2 parrots. And the little parrot, came up to the cage. And at his feet, there was a little tiny baby feather. Just a little tiny fluffy feather. It's about that. Just a small feather. Because their feathers, when they pluck their feathers out, some of them can be quite big feathers. You wouldn't think it looking at them, but they can be huge feathers. So it just goes to show how much feather they hide in their plumage. But Rio came up to the side of the cage when I was speaking to him, and he picked up this tiny, tiny feather, and he actually put it through the bars of the cage as if to say, that's my gift to you, Mom. And I just thought, wow. You know, I'm always finding the parrot feathers in the bottom of the cage or on a shelf or whatever else when I'm cleaning out their cage. But to actually see Leo coming up to the cage, picking up that feather and very tenderly putting it through the spars of the cage, as if to say, this is my gift to you. That was one special moment. Rio's never done that. Never, ever. So that little feather's now on my altar, just as a special wee gift from my little baby bird. He's my little baby. Rocky's a man's bird. He's very much Mouse, my partner's bird. He's very drawn to men and very disobedient to women. Go figure, right? Whereas Rio is very much a mummy's boy. You know, he'll try and sort of nip at Mouse, but Rocky will. Mouse can feed Rocky without any hesitation. Rocky will not go near him. He won't peck at him or whatever else. I go near Rocky and, you know, with food or whatever else, and he's like, yeah, I want to eat my mum, basically. So they're like chalk and cheese. Yeah, definitely feathers are your nan's mark for sure. Which is why she's saying feathers, feathers, feathers. So I can see why she's excited, and I can see why she's so drawn to the fact that you've just had a feather delivery. She's showing me a robin. Your nan is showing me a little robin redbreast. So I'm assuming, and she's saying, look out for robin redbreast. So there's a message in there somewhere. Because she's asking me to ask you to please look out for little Robin Redbreast. Because little Robin Redbreast, God, that's a mouthful. Little Robin Redbreast may also have a gift for you, is what she is saying. And I believe she's saying the garden, which is where you find everything in the garden. You find your granddad's, your grandfather's plants and everything in there. Ah, so she's shown you them in your dreams as well. That's amazing that she's actually shown you the dreams. I love messages in dreams are so good. I love my dream journal. I absolutely love my dream journal. In fact, I've got so many things that I could share with you about my dream journal, and I might just do that in PM one time, because it would take probably 2 hours to go through all my dream journals. But for those that you who are watching this maybe on the replay and they're thinking dream journals, what's this dream journal? I always keep a dream journal, and the messages that you can find in a dream journal will blow your mind, because a lot of the time Spirit will leave us messages in our dreams. And if you do not capture those dream messages within 10 minutes of you waking up, you risk the chance of losing that dream, losing that message. How many of us get up after having a dream and we're sitting with our first or second or in my case third cup of coffee, waking up and we think, shit, I wish I remembered what I was dreaming about. I know I had a good dream last night and I forgot it. Yeah, of course you did. Because you've had like 3 coffees since you're waking up. So when you keep a dream journal, as soon as your eyes open in the morning, reach across to your bedside table and grab your journal and pen, which you should always have by your bed. And whatever you remember from your dreams, even if you don't remember the whole dream, even if it's just fragments, write it down. Write down what you do remember, right? And then the next morning, do the same. Write it down. And keep doing that. And then at the end of maybe every 2 weeks, or once a month, read back your dreams in your dream journal. Read back your notes. And it will blow your mind how your dreams go from fragments to telling a story. So, for example, day 1 fragment might fit into day 2 fragment, might fit into day 3 fragment. And as you read that week or that fortnight or that month's dreams, a story unfolds, a message unfolds. Now, what if we hadn't kept that dream journal? How sad would it be that we would lose all those messages? But you don't need to take my word for it. Try it out yourself. A dream journal can be anything. It can be something as simple as a little purple notebook. Right? It can be something as simple as that. It could be a fancy book, a fancy notebook that you've maybe been gifted or whatever. It could be a fancy book that you were thinking about using as a grimoire, or a book of shadows, as they call it a book of shadows in Wicca, but traditional witchcraft they call it a grimoire. But we always use like natural papers and natural journals, handmade journals, to sort of use as our grimoires because it's natural. And it's been made in a natural process kind of thing. But dream journals can be anything. It could be a jotter, it could be a notebook, it could be a sheet of paper that you put into a binder. You know, make it unique to you. It might start out as a jotter and you might want to design the front and back cover of it. But the message that you can get through a dream journal and keeping dream journals will literally blow your mind. And there can be some valuable special lessons in there. Sometimes I add pictures to my dream journals as well. For example, if I dream about a crow, I will put in my dream journal, today or last night I saw 2 crows in my dreams, and I'll draw one of the crows that sticks out in my mind. And then it's a visual as well. So not only have I got my notes, but I've actually got a visual that today I saw, or last night I saw a crow in my dreams. Or last night I saw the moon, or last night I saw a robin, or a feather, or whatever it may be. So dream journals can give us so much information from spirit, from the universe, from our spirit guides as well. But yet many people don't keep a dream journal. And all those sacred messages, all those magical messages are lost. Often never to be repeated again, which is pretty sad. Well, if you haven't had a robin visit your garden yet, then maybe she's showing that the robin's going to be visiting your garden. Right, okay. She's telling me the reason you've not had a robin visit your garden is because you haven't put out the food, the right food for the robin. That's her message to you on that one. Because she's showing me like different bags of birdseed, and I know where she's coming from because when I had my bird table, and I was looking at all the different bird seeds and stuff, there are certain foods that attract robins, certain foods that attract blue tits, etc., etc., and it's getting the right mix to attract those particular birds. Yeah, and that's what she's saying. If you give them the right food, they will come. And I know where she's coming from because we never got any magpies in our garden when we first moved here. And as I was choosing the different foods for the bird table, I was looking at the packets and it would say this particular brand will attract robins or blue tits or sparrows, etc. And I got one that would attract magpies. And Maggie Magpie's been a regular visitor to our garden ever since, even though we took our bird table down. We're hoping to sort of repaint it and redo it and put it back up again. But for the meantime, it's down. But even though the bird table's down, Maggie Magpie still comes and visits, which is lovely. But yeah, definitely get some robin attracting food, definitely. Okay, so I'm looking at the time now. We are kind of like 5 minutes after the time. I could sit and chat to you two ladies all night. This has been, even though we've had like 2 readings, for me it's been wonderful because when we've got a quiet session like this, it's lovely that I can share cards with you, but we can also have a chat as well. I absolutely love that. It's really nice when it's quiet. Sometimes when the single card readings get really, really busy and everybody's wanting a card, you don't have that one-to-one personal time with me where you can just sit, let our hair down and get a chat. So it has been nice. And, you know, 2 beautiful cards tonight from yourself, Lucy, and from Aileen. I hope I've pronounced your name right, Aileen. If I haven't, then I do apologise. I'm hopeless at pronunciations. You are more than welcome. It has been a pleasure, and because it's been quiet, I've kind of added a card of the day in this one as well. So if you've missed that one, Lucy, and you play it back, I've got a card of the day in the middle of the readings as well. The card of the day was the Hanged Man. I think, you know, for your card and Aileen's card, I think the Hanged Man sort of fitted that very, very well. All right, Aisling. What a beautiful name. So unusual. Thank you. I remember that for the next time. Yeah, it's the same with my name. The amount of people that actually call me Catherine, where it's actually Catherine. My name is spelled Kathrine. Hasn't got an E in it. It's an Irish spelling. And my mum named me after my great grandmother, who, funnily enough, has been my lifelong spirit guide. She's been with me since birth. Her name was Catherine Malloyne, and she was in the 1800s. And my mum called me Catherine after her. And oh my goodness me, when I was at the school, people came to the door and they said, "Is Catherine in?" My mum would look at them and say, "I don't have a Catherine. I have a Catherine, but I don't have a Catherine." She was so adamant she wanted people to call me by the name that she chose for me. But even today, you know, people will still call me Catherine instead of Catherine. But yeah, but thank you for sharing that beautiful, beautiful name with me. What a wonderful name that is. But very, very pretty. I love it, unusual names. And it's funny because, you know, I go into these shops, you know how you go into the gift shops, and you've got like pens, and they've got boys' names on one side and they've got girls' names on the other. And I think, oh, I'm going to have a look. And I can never find a bleeding pen that has Catherine in it. Catherine, yes, but not Catherine. So it's nice to have an unusual name, but sometimes it's a little bit, can't find anything that's, you know, got a gift with, you know, my own name as it's spelled kind of thing. So yeah. So now when I'm making my jewellery, sometimes when I make personal bracelets for people or personal necklaces or whatever else, I kind of use the little, you know, some of them say, "Can you put my daughter or my son's name on it?" Yeah, of course I can. I can use the little letters and they get the correct spelling, and they love that because it's like if somebody's got a unique name, and they'll often say to me, "I love your bracelet because I can't get my niece or my nephew or my cousin's or my granddaughter's name anywhere because it's spelled in a unique way." So I love unusual names. Yeah, definitely, definitely. You know, and it's funny because even when I'm like putting my name on the spell checker on Facebook or whatever else, it's adamant I have got a C instead of a K, and it's adamant I've got an E in the middle of the name, and I'm like, you know, and I have to actually teach my spell checker. I teach my spell checker to actually spell my name. It's insane, it's crazy. Okay, ladies, I could sit and chat to you beautiful, beautiful souls all night. Thank you both so much for making this reading session such a pleasure. And I'm so glad that your individual cards meant so much to you. I'll be back next Friday at 7 p.m. for another live reading. So feel free to join me next Friday. I'm also going to be adding some rune readings here next week as well. And I'm also going to be adding some of my jewellery that I've been kind of making. And when I've finished my dream catchers and stuff, they're going to be added onto that as well as my natural products as well. So lots of new things coming and lots of exciting things happening in the Mystic Witch. So thank you all for joining me. If you know anyone that would like to come along and have a reading on a Friday evening, please let them know. Do check me out on YouTube as well, because this will be shared on my YouTube channel, The Mystic Witch. Everything that I do is The Mystic Witch. So you can find The Mystic Witch on Facebook, you can find it on Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. I'm everywhere. Everywhere these days. My theory is if I'm everywhere, then I can help everyone everywhere. That's my theory, and I'm kind of sticking to it. So I'm going to head off, and thank you very much, ladies, for joining me tonight. It's been a great evening, and a great way to end a Friday evening. So lots of love and bright blessings to both Aisling and Lucy. And I will see you again next Friday for another live card reading. You'll also see me every day anyway with Card of the Day. So take care, everyone. Love and lots of blessings to you all. Have a great Friday evening. I will do. See you next week.